Welcome back to two Colts in the Kong. We've had a bit of a break in the paddock, but we're back for the new year.
Do we look like we've been in a good paddock, Adam?
I think so, yes.
I think we do, yes.
Yes. How's everything going?
It's been good. No, it's been an interesting time really here in Hong Kong, but the racing over the last 6 weeks has still been very, very good. We've at the start of the 4-year-old series. We've had two Group 1s, one by Joe Morea and John Size with Waikuku and Beat the Clock. And there's still Dubai in the talk for a lot of horses. So I know obviously what's been going on here hasn't been ideal for anybody, but racing-wise, there's been a lot to enjoy.
Definitely. We've seen some great horses go around. So, as you said, we've seen Beat the Clock. Incredible sprinter. Waikuku's gone to a new level, and I think the new horse on the scene that we've all got to be talking about, and he's one of the most exciting talents we've probably seen here for some time in Golden 60. It's good to see one of my favourite young jockeys, and I know you're a big fan of him too, Vincent, get paired up with a very, very nice horse. He's a real deal. He's the son of Medaglia d'Oro. He's a beautiful horse. He's getting better and better. Stepped up to the 1600. There was no worries. Next assignment's the 1800. I can't see why not, but his stablemate going to be very, very hard to beat in more than this.
Definitely. I think it's a good point you make too, and it just shows how much things can change in a year.
Yep.
Over 12 months ago now, Vincent did all the lead-up work on Exalted, leading into the Vase.
Correct.
His form was very good. Vase Day, Vincent wasn't on. Zach Burton was on. And I'm not knocking Zach by saying this. I'm more wanting to emphasise that I don't think now, if that was the situation, Zach would be able to jump on as easily as he did, because in that 12 months, Vincent's been the leading local rider here.
Yep.
He's also gone to the UK and ridden with credit, winning at Ascot, the Shergar Cup.
Yep.
He rode a winner on IJC night here up against the likes of Frankie Dettori, Ryan Moore and those sort of guys.
And Punchstone a winner.
Yeah, now brought an end to Beauty Generations, winning run on Rise High as Golden 60. So I think it's a terrific story. I also think it's great to see Francis Lloyd. We're not talking about John Size or John Moore or Tony Cruz, the usual suspects in the big races. We're talking about someone different, which I think is a breath of fresh air.
You're exactly right. Francis is a lovely guy. He's always got time. He's very, very patient with his horses. He's a great trainer. And as you can see, he's got more than the SN Golden 60, two of the main contenders for the 4-year-old series, who are absolutely flying. But not just them. His stable's flying this season. He's on top of the ladder at the moment.
Yeah.
And as Vincent, and as you said, he did do all the lead-up work for Exalted, and he got taken off. But these days, Vincent's not that. He's not that jockey now. He's a young man on the rise who he's could hold his league, hold himself anywhere in the world at the moment. I think he's a special talent. He works his butt off. He wants to learn, and he rode 3 winners on the Wednesday nights to bring up his 300th winner in Hong Kong. That doesn't really matter to him. I don't think he's really a jockey that counts numbers.
He said when I interviewed him, he didn't know about it until I told him in the interview that he was on 299 wins at Hong Kong. I think he just wants to get better as a jockey, doesn't he? He doesn't take... I think he would take notice, obviously, of his big race wins and enjoy those moments. But I don't think the nitty-gritty of the numbers really bother him.
Humble, hard-working, very quietly spoken young guy. And I know we've said it time and time again, but he is a young man that deserves all the bit of success that comes his way.
Definitely. He works very hard, as you say. Works hard to improve himself and know that he still says he's got a bit to go, but he's doing a great job. Golden 60 and more than this. Do we go back 6 years, and is there a comparison with Able Friend and Designs on Rome as Golden 60, the better miler who I think will run 2000?
Yep.
More than this, more the gritty, staying type of horse?
Yeah. Both horses are exceptional animals. I think later on this season, Golden 60 will be a major contender in the Hong Kong International Mile. Even if he does stay the 2000, I still think he's a perfect mile. He switches off. He still does a bit wrong, but once he gets to the outside, he pins those ears back and he tries like a very good horse. The one thing maybe over this 1800 and the 2000 metres that is going to worry me is when he pings, he pings. He doesn't sustain that ping for a long time, which he can sustain a long turn of foot, but in saying that, he's against horses that probably aren't at the same level of him, so he can get away with it at the moment.
Yeah, is he the type, do you think that he's got a short turn of foot, or is that once he gets to the front he sort of switches off and things? I've done my job.
Well, yeah, because you can see he pins his ears back and then he sort of starts waiting for them to come. But more than this is a horse who I've got a huge opinion on. I think he's a very, very good horse. I don't want to split. It's hard to pick one for the next race, but looking at more than this in his track work since that race, he looks like he's pulled up brilliantly. Speaking of Francis Lloyd, he said he's eating up. He looks like a horse that not much phases him, so that's what you want in a young horse. The 1800, he's going to lap it up. Zach goes on board. He's going to suit the horse, but it's going to be an incredible race. I'd be very, very shocked if a horse came out and a different horse came and beat them in the 1800 and also the Derby. But there are some very, very nice horses on the rise here in Hong Kong, but I will not be going past them too for the time being.
No, they're the top two seeds. I thought Champions Way was better though.
Yep.
Again, in the Classic Mile, I thought he was better in the Group 3
Yep.
on New Year's Day, and then I thought he took it again, stepped it up another length or two last time out. So I wouldn't count him out, and I think I know you and I are probably going to disagree on this horse, but Beauty Legacy did a lot wrong, I thought. Second up, he was
Yep.
second up, he was very, very good.
Yep.
First up. I wouldn't discount him, but if you're framing a market, Golden 60's probably favourite just
Yep.
ahead of more than this for the next leg of the series. Champions Way third pick, Beauty Legacy fourth pick, and then maybe Columbus County or Butterfield. Those sort
Yep.
of horses would be your next sort of level of betting.
Yeah, definitely. I think Beauty Legacy is a very, very good horse. But he is doing things wrong, and you can't afford to make those kind of mistakes against horses like Golden 60 and more than this. Is he as good as them two? Time will tell. I don't think so at the moment. But he's a very, very talented horse. And I think he's still a horse that's a big learning curve for John Size, because I think he's a pretty naughty horse and he does a lot wrong. So he's going to learn a lot from this first campaign over here in Hong Kong, and the next season we'll probably see a better horse.
Yeah, definitely. No, I agree with that. But I think, as you say, the top two are the two to beat when it comes to the next two legs of the Classic Series, but I wouldn't say it's open and shut like that.
No, definitely not. And they're young horses, got to remember that. And also, there's one thing, they're not robots, so anything can happen.
Yes. So a lot to look forward to, because we've got the two Group 1s next weekend. We've got that the week after the Classic Cup. Plenty to look forward to. As far as Group 1 horses go, Waikuku, Exultant was back with a win as well Monday week ago. I'd say they'd probably beat the clock. They're now our three best horses at proven top level.
For sure. They just continually keep producing their best. Beat the Clock is an absolute marvel. What a horse. He doesn't matter if he leads, he goes back, he gets pushed around during the race, he goes slow up front, he still manages to win. He's a very good horse. I'm a huge Athero fan, we spoke about that, but Athero's not there at the moment. He's having a little bit of a breather, so Beat the Clock, I'd be shocked if anything can beat him. But Hot King Prawn, he was a bit unlucky last start. He trialled well this morning. He's probably going to bounce back to his best next start. And Exultant he's a freak. He's honestly a freak, that horse. Nothing phases him. There's not much of him. He's tough. He's consistent. Carries big weights. Sits wide. Goes forward. Goes back. Doesn't matter. He's just a good horse. He's a dude. And I think the best way to sum him up is he's a tough horse.
He is, definitely. He stands up to what's asked of him and was able to win with a big weight last time. Now, the Gold Cup's at his mercy.
Yep.
I'd be shocked if he lost that.
Yep.
But then the big test comes if they go to Dubai. That's when we really know is he just a really good Hong Kong horse,
Yep.
or is he a really good international horse?
Yeah, of course that's going to be the big question mark. But I think he will definitely hold his own in Dubai. I love tough horses. I just love that they go about their business and just, they don't have to make their own luck. There's a lot of other horses in the race that need luck to go their way, where he can just do what he wants throughout the run. I'd love to see him in Dubai taking on some of the world's best days, so time will tell. We'll see him there soon.
Definitely, no, he's a very, very good horse, and he's beaten Lee's Brochere, he's beaten Volguys. They went on to win a couple of good races in October last year, so he's proven it here. We'll see what he does if and when he goes overseas. We've got 10 races to look forward to on Saturday, Adam.
Let's get stuck into them tomorrow. Yep.
All right, let's start off in race book order. A couple of good races to look forward to, the two Class 2s, the Sprint and the Mile, but we'll start off with the first. How do we go here with 6 newcomers?
Interesting race, very interesting race. I liked Dublin Star's trials leading to his first up run. I'm going to stick with him back to the 1,000 metres. He did a lot wrong last start. Ended up finishing 5th. He's drawn the right side of the track. You called his recent trial. It was good.
It was. He still does things wrong,
Yep.
but he's got the natural ability. You can see that.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think back to the straight, if he was to run below par, he'd be a bit worried.
You'd be worried then. I wouldn't say worried. I wouldn't mind seeing him maybe then just having a little breather and trying to mature a bit more, because he does need to mature a lot. I think he's a good horse. I think he'll be right once he does mature, but tomorrow he's going to start short, and that's a bit of a worry. If he does start short, I'm going to play around with numbers 8 and 10. I think Spicy Grill's trials have been very good. They've been quiet trials. Vincent and Francis, that is a hot combination. It'll sit just behind that. The horse will sit just behind the speed, and I think he'll be charging on late. Quipau Boss, or however you pronounce it, Quipau Boss.
Chappelle.
Chappelle Boss.
I'm not 100% sure. I think I've gone Chappelle, haven't I? My
Okay.
calls,
Yeah, we'll go with him.
Think of it a
Chappelle
couple
Boss.
of different goes at
Your
it.
pronunciation is much better than mine. So, Chappelle Boss, very good trials, huge watch. He's going to be big odds. I think he's going to run a massive race. And El Jefe. El Jefe.
Good luck here, Tom Wood.
Yeah, good luck. Yes. And what about the 13? Is it Alios or Ilos?
Aola, sorry.
There you go. It's going well here. So good luck, Tom.
The 4, I think it's all the way.
Yes, we've got that one right. We'll get that one right.
I like the way that he won his last trial over 800 metres, but then interviewing Lyle Hewitson today, he was saying he worries about an extra furlong with him. So
Yeah, that's a bit of a worry.
considering he's running over the minimum distance here.
It's a bit tough if he's not going to run out 1,000 in Hong Kong.
Yeah, that sort of put me off him from having anything on him tomorrow.
Yeah,
I think I might watch him go around.
I sort of agreed with him. He looked like he was a bit speedy, so I left him out of my numbers before that case. But yeah, that's my first race: 6, 10, 8, 12.
Okay, the Class 5, 1,800 metres. Bring it on, future our kid. Down in class, amazing agility, going well enough to win a race like this. Little General should have won a race by now.
Yeah, this is...
Out of Raw, I don't like gate 14, but I will say with him,
Yep.
I thought he got to 2,200 too quickly in his prep
Spot on.
last time, and he raced like a horse that wasn't used to that sort of tempo.
I think he went 14 straight to 22.
Yes.
So it's a tough ask for a horse to do that.
How do you? Or the other one is, what do we do with McManagle? Like I know he trialled well leading into it, but he was 0 from 14
Yeah.
leading into that. How do you assess him here?
I thought his win was good. He's going to sit outside the leader probably once again to go forward. His recent trial was poor again, which is a bit of a worry. But he's going to be a horse. He's going to be big odds again tomorrow, so I'd be putting him in your exotics. I've gone with 5, Amazing Agility. Joe got on this horse last season at this around the same time, got the job done. I just think he does tick a few boxes. Golden Kid's racing well. He's going to be good odds. And Great Harvest, I think, is a horse who will run a much improved race. So I'd be playing around with them numbers, and I've put him for 4th, Gold Velvet. The 6, which good to see Chad back. He's had a month off. Speaking of Chad the other week, he looks hungry. He looks ready to get back into the ride. He's a star young rider, and I'm excited to see him back tomorrow. He's got some very, very good rides, and I wouldn't be shocked if he came away with 2, 3. Wouldn't be shocked if he rode 4 winners tomorrow. So
He's got the ride on Voyage Warrior later
Yep.
on. Circuit 3, I thought was a good ride for him to pick up.
correct. This is the sort of race where Gold Velvet, if he produces his best, he can win. So
He's been ready to win for a while.
correct. He looks like a horse. I wouldn't be shocked if there's not much pace in this race tomorrow. I think if he rolled forward and he just kept bobbing. So 5, 3, 9, 6 for me in race 2.
Okay, that's the second, the Class 5 contest. We move on to the third. We've got a couple of races on the all-weather track, and this is one of those. I don't mind Confucius Day here. He'll be up on the pace. The dirt can often favour horses up on the speed.
Yep.
And if he does what he's done in Happy Valley and he is able to pinch 2 or 3 legs at the top of the straight
Won't
on them,
touch it.
it's harder to make up
Yep.
ground on the dirt than what it is at the Valley.
Spot on. My numbers are 1, 12, 6 and 3. I think Confucius Day, this is his race to win. If he doesn't win this, I don't know what they'll do with him then. But I think 12's a going to be huge odds. Pleasant Guy, back to the all-weather track. A horse, a couple of starts ago, ran fourth at massive odds. It would have been nice if he ran third, but he's going to get the gun run tomorrow with no weight on his back. Bright Kid, he has trialled well on his surface this season when he was with Chris O. Now with Douglas White. Dougie wouldn't have him on this surface. He didn't think he could handle it. He's definitely there to run a race. And Dollar Reward is being consistent. Keep an eye on Bulletproof, first starter from the Ricky Eust camp. I've really liked his trials. He will be getting back to last, and I think he'll be charging on late. A very nice horse.
Okay, my keep an eye on horse is the 2 Team Fortune. He's an 8-year-old, but he is down in class and back to his preferred surface. He could improve.
Spot on. He could. I was the same. Back in class, but I just thought his recent runs have just been really poor. But he could tomorrow come out and charge home and win.
Definitely.
The fourth race.
Fourth race, Class 4, 1400 here. What did you like?
I've gone with King's Race. I thought if he bounces back to his best, he'll be very hard to beat. A horse that doesn't need to go very hard up on tempo. I think if he even just sits outside the leader, he'll be hard to run down. Number 12, Fantastic Show, consistent galloper.
Does he need a mile?
He might need a mile. I don't know what to do with him yet. We'll leave that up to me, Choi. He's paid the big bucks for that, Edward. And Roman Impero, a horse who's going to run a much improved race tomorrow. He's a horse that I've got opinion of. His recent trial is very good. He gets -10 off his back. It's a huge tick. I watch him flashing home late. And Spontaneous, I thought he was good first up.
Okay, I'm quite interested in Comfort Life. He's run 2 starts ago down the straight, was a rear eye catch, flying home over 1,000 metres, down in class. He did a run in between over 1650, back to 1400, the only trip he's won over. Zach's on from a good draw. Ticks a lot of boxes.
Definitely right. Comfort Light has to be respected.
Okay, let's go on to the fifth. This is a Class 3 over 1800 metres. I've always had a bit of time for World Famous as a horse. But speaking of horses, you've got one that you like at a bit of a price. Or hopefully at a bit of a price.
Hopefully at a bit of a price. Yes, I was on him last week. More Than a Horse is my value bet of the day. This horse has talent, 1800 metres, fourth up. Douglas White, Alexa Badel, Barrier 6, 122. I think he ticks a lot of boxes. He was very, very unlucky last week. He should have run a place. I like the quick backup. Number 11 on Zombie Stablemates, obviously racing very well. He looks tough to beat. Champion Supreme, I do agree with you on World Famous, but I think he needs to go back to Happy Valley.
Okay.
And Super Bullet, I think, is a horse, number 7, who will run in much improved race. But More Than a Horse, I'll be shocked if he doesn't run in the top 3.
Back to the dirt for the 6th race, Class 3, 1200 metres. You can make a case for nearly every one of these, couldn't you?
Yeah, I've gone with Kobe Opper just because I think his recent trial was good enough for him to bounce back to his best. Frankie has a great record on the dirt. He's going to be hard to beat, but number 4, Mega Heart, wins if he gets every chance to charge home from the back. Number 8, Just Not Listening, can win if he produces his best. And Diamond Pegasus, I put in as a bit of a roughie. I think he's got ability, and like to see him charging on late.
Race 7 is one of our 2 best races on the card, 2 highest classes races. This is a Class 2 over 1600 metres. Ricky Yu has said the Pressure Ship could be one of the best milers in Hong Kong. He's won 3 of his last 4. Does he win here?
Well, if he's one of the best milers in Hong Kong, then he wins this. But I don't have him on top. I've gone with Not Usual Talent just to get a perfect run in behind him. I think he's just peaking now. He's ready to win. I've liked his last start effort. Good to see Flying Thunder back to his best. I think this horse is a very, very, very good horse. He might not be back to his best just yet, but there were signs last start of him rattling home late that Frankie Law has fixed a few of his issues, which is good because I think he's a top-class galloper. I think he's a Group 1 horse on his day.
That's a big call, Adam.
Yes, it is. But in saying that, he's a horse that probably does need his pace to go on and charge on late because there's a devastating turn of foot when right. Fast Most Furious has been very consistent, and of course, Pressure Ship has to be included in the numbers.
I think Cordyceps in a race where there's not a heap of pace on, he's going to run a cheeky race.
Spot on, he'll go forward. Best way is and the only way I think is to ride him is go forward. I think he's the one for us. Is also a sneaky chance. Just he was well supported last start, and I always like riding down horses that were well supported in the market. So he was one of them, and I thought he stuck on well with no weight in his back. Chad, Barrier 3, I think he can run a big race.
Okay, I don't know if he runs a mile. I think last time I was more keen over 1400.
Yeah, spot on. That's the worry. Mile, he hasn't been producing his best.
Race 8, Class 3, 1400 metres for people who are taking trebles, quaddies, those sort of bets. What are the horses you should be taking note of here?
Definitely number 11, Circuit 3. He's one of my best bets of the day. I think he just maps perfectly to get another great run. Chad goes on his back. He rode him first up. Karras won on him last start. Barrier 6 gets a perfect run. 118 on his back with the +2. Number 8, Big Fortunes racing well. Shining Gems racing well. And of course, Glorious Lover has a huge watch. Zach, first starter, Me Choi. His recent trials have been very good. Huge watching this horse because I think he's going to be good odds, and I think he'll be storming home late.
Okay. Formerly raced in the UK prior to coming over here. This is his first Hong Kong run, so he'll be one to take note of. Class 2, 1200, race 9. This is a cracking contest here. Does Voyage Wire run 1200 metres?
As we were saying earlier on, he's the best horse in the race. He's a very, very talented horse. I think Chad's going to really suit him with his soft hands. My notes are 1200 metres question mark. Big watch on him. He's a serious horse. I don't know what he does from there, if he does go forward or he sits behind him, but his best attribute is when he goes forward and just lets him rip. If he does hold on, they won't catch him because he's a class horse. I have gone with Duke Y. He's going to make it 5 on the trot. If he wins tomorrow, he's a serious animal. Paul's done a great job with him. There could be good tempo up front if we do see the likes of Soul Special, Voyage Warrior. Hong Kong Bet will probably be up there on the pace.
Does Beauty Applause from his white gate go
Beauty
forward?
Applause comes across. So yeah, I'm going to sit. I think Duke Y will sit one off, a few pairs back, get the outside and let rip. He's a serious horse at the moment. He's racing really well.
I don't think we can ignore Computer Patch. He's had 3 runs. They've all been really good. He's only a 3-year-old. Drawn well, lightweight. He's definitely a player here.
Definitely right, mate. He's a serious horse. A horse I've got a good opinion of. He showed ability in Australia. He used to formerly be with Ronnie Quinton. His runs here have been very good. I just think he's a prep away. He'll be a much nicer horse next preparation.
Okay. Final race. It's also a good one. Number of hopes in it. Class 3, 1400 metres. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to meet Far Above Fan Club.
Yeah, he's a good horse.
You're not the only one, but you're the leader of that fan club, I think.
Yeah, he's a horse I've always really liked. I remember seeing his first trial when he was with Francis. He showed top class ability. His last 2 wins have been sensational. His first up win for Dougie White was brilliant. He charged on from the back of the pack. He'll do the same again tomorrow. I would be shocked if they beat him. I think if they take the time with him, which I think Dougie will do, I don't think he'll rush him in the 4-year-old series. But he'll sit one off, get to the outside, let rip. He's a very, very good horse. He's a group horse, and he'll show that tomorrow.
Okay, no concerns about him second up?
No, not whatsoever.
Okay, what's the best for the day?
Far Above's the best. Best value bet is also from the Douglas White camp in More Than a Horse. I think they'll both run big races.
All right, looking forward to it. Best of luck. Happy punting tomorrow, Adam.
Thank you, and I wish you all the best back in Australia with your trip back home.
Thank you for that, Adam, but I'll be here next Friday for 2 Colts in the Kong again. Dual Group 1 day on Sunday week, so there's a lot to look forward to.
Looking forward to it next week. Group 1 action back in Hong Kong, and then the week after we see, of course, back to the Classic Cup, 1800 metres for the 4-year-olds. Everyone have a great weekend, and good luck.